Okay, this is a quick guide on how to use a budget planner that I've created to look at the impact of front-running your teacher's pension with a private pension or a SIP or your AVCs. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not saying this is a way to do it. I'm just saying this is one way it can be done. And as always, getting the numbers and getting your head around what's actually involved in the finances, I think is a great way to start your planning. So this sheet is to help you out with this idea that instead of taking your pension at 55, your teacher's pension at 55, you can draw down, using the new flexibilities, money from a private pension, your AVCs, or a self-invested private pension. And so first of all, let's start off with how this works. I've got some white sections here. I've got names and pension amounts. I've got some key dates and the people's ages. I've got two people in this. It's for a couple who are working, both teachers, just because that happens to be my situation. If you decide that you want to just do it for one, just simply don't put the numbers in. So change that to 0, and all of Catherine's figures will drop to 0. Obviously, you can put your name in there, and then you can see what numbers are there. So, I've got John and Catherine as my two examples. I've put in their full pension. That's the pension they'd get at 60. It's what's shown on their statement for their 80th scheme. That's the final salary, which has the national pension age, normal pension age of 60. I've put in what my monthly expenses are. This is looking to see if we're going to work out how much money we need to get to the point before we take our teacher's pension, and how much money we have in the bank, and what's available. So if I increase that, let's put something ridiculous in there. Let's put £5,000 a month in, and what that will do is that will start to show you how quickly you can get into debt. So lots of red figures starting to appear on the screen. Obviously, you're looking for greens or blues, ones that say you can cope with that sort of finance, that sort of money. So I can put in the age. If we look here, you can see we've got John's income coming from when he's 55. Now he gets to 55 a lot earlier than Catherine does, and his income naught until he's 55. He's taking it early at 55, so he's not actually front running with SIP income at all. So if I change that to say 58, what we'll see here is that his figures drop down here until he gets to 58. And then shows you the kind of reduction he has based on the teacher's pension reductions. That's all based on this white box over on the left here. I put in the starts of dates, and it's only a rough planner, so I'm not actually interested in doing precise dates. I don't want to know your birthday. I don't want putting in people's birthdays, but I put in a few key dates. 1st of September tends to be the obvious one because that's when most teachers finish and start taking pensions. And then I run them down, and what I'm saying here is that John is 55 sometime in June. So I've put down the 1st of June as a key date. And then I've done that annually, so I'll go 55, 50. So I'm just doing the annual. His partner here, Catherine, her birthday is in December, so first month or January, doesn't really matter, it's close enough. So I put in there 1st of January, and then I'm going to work on from now. The dates get sort of bit of hopscotch as we go through. John's birthday, Catherine's birthday, John's birthday. We're only interested in getting up to 60. No point going over there. And so then we're just into Catherine until she gets to 60, and a couple of years thereafter, just to check on what we want. It's possible to copy this bottom row and extend the spreadsheet down if you want to go to a longer set of figures. So let's look across now to see what else we got in here and show you what it's saying. Right, if they go at 58 and 56, what we're showing here, I've got this labelled as annual deficit and total income. This is the annual deficit bit here, the two what are green at the moment. Well, that's nice. That's showing that they're actually increasing their money. They're not going into debt. They're not going massive. And when they're gonna have enough to cope with that 2,000. And I showed you earlier, if I change that to 5,000, then we'll probably see that these figures, losing nearly 30,000 a year to see the three other white cells we've got here. And I've got 3 settings. I've got the amount of savings. That's the kind of cash, the money that you can lay your hands on. I've then got the amounts in 2 private pensions or the AVCs. And then under that, a summary saying, well, how much is actually needed to cope with this point. So we're only looking at taking out the maximum tax-free amounts when you're not started taking your teacher's pension. Clearly, if you've got a pension and you need 16,000 and you've got 50,000, once you start taking your pension, you can take out or set up an annuity with that AVC. but of course it will be taxed. So you're not getting that sort of maximum tax relief of 16,600. Why 16,600? I think I did explain this somewhere else, but I'll do it again for you now. The tax allowance in a year for this year, 12,500. When you take money out of a private pension, you get 25% of it free, tax-free, and the rest is then taxed. So if you take out this 16,666 figure, that 25% is that 4,100 odd bit, which means the rest of your money is 12,500, and so it all comes within a tax-free allowance, as long as you've got no other income. If you've got other income, then money will be taxed. And then this shows me this orange figure here. This is my maximum debt, and this is what I did for this fall, was to look and see how much money do I have to have before I'm going to have a problem. So if I was going to do this, John retiring at 58, Catherine retiring at 56, then I've got to have £64,000 worth of savings in order for this to work. If I don't have 64,000, I'm going to go into debt, I'm going to go overdrawn, big interest bills, don't want to go there. So if I whack John and Catherine's age for retirement all the way up to 60, let's have a look and see what that does. So that says, well, three things here to look at. That orange figure, I need £68,000 worth of savings. But these two red figures, these show that I've not got enough in my SIPs or my AVCs to cover that period. Because if they're going at 60, I've got 5 years that I can take out of private pension amounts. I can take £16,000 out every year for 5 years without paying any tax, which means I need 83,000 in the AVC or SIP in order to do that. So that debt, yep, maximum debt there. And if you look down, savings still available, you can see that around about here, just before, I presume, John's pension kicks in, we get down to a figure of 1,700 in the savings. That's not a great deal. So it's worth checking, looking through. Yeah, maximum debt, I've got 68,000, 70,000. I'm going to get within £1,700, nearly £2,000 of what my minimum is. So if I had any sudden expenses, I haven't got much wiggle room. And of course, I need to increase my SIPs. If I put in 90,000 in the SIPs, then we'll have enough to cope with this. And finally, this last column shows you what our financial reserves are. Now that's the total of your money in your bank saved and the money that's still within your private pension. So this is just for you to play around with and try out different combinations. Try out different ages, see how much cash you need, see how much private pension you need. Put in what your figures are for your actual pensions themselves. So hopefully that shows you how to use it. By all means, make a copy, file, make a copy, and then you'll have a private copy for yourself. You won't be able to edit my one. You've got to make a copy for yourself so that you can have the rights to change it. Thank you.